Alright, you guys, and welcome back to another video. And today, we're going to take a look at the 4 vehicles that CIG has shown off during the most recent episode of Inside Star Citizen. That is the Anvil Asgard, the Star's Attack, the Guardian MX, and the Graycat MTC. Alright, so now I want to start with the Asgard. As you guys know, I talked about this in a previous video, kind of theory crafting that it could be a capital ship, right? And the reason why I theory craft that is because Anvil doesn't have a capital ship, and the Asgard is essentially Norse heaven, right? So it kind of makes sense for Asgard to be the capital ship. But the Asgard is in fact what is more akin to a Valkyrie variant with a larger cargo area. I'm going to take a deeper look at all of the ships that CIG showed off. So that means we're going to take a look at the interiors as well. So without further ado, let's get into this video and take a look at the Asgard. Now, again, I think that the only disappointing thing about this ship, in my personal opinion, is that because they use the Asgard name, they can't use it on a future capital ship. So, for instance, if Anvil did make a capital ship, it can't be named Asgard. And strictly speaking, when CIG normally names ship variants, they have the same name, but they have like a subtitle, like Constellation Andromeda, Constellation Phoenix, Constellation Taurus. They're all constellation ships, but they have that subtitle at the end here. So I feel like CIG could have named this, the Valkyrie HT for heavy transport, or even Valkyrie Mark II. But as you can see here from the exterior, the engines are kind of pushed up and forward to make more room for the door at the back. And we're just going to play it. You can see very large opening at the back for those larger ground vehicles. Kind of smaller thrusters there. It's a good looking ship. I think the Valkyrie, is a very good looking ship, very tactical. We can see here, better look at those engine cells on the side here. I don't know if they rotate for VTOL, but it would be cool if they did. Front engines as well, and what looks like a turret at the top. This doesn't look like a gun turret. It might be, but it also might be a missile turret. Can't really tell from this angle here. Then we have a view of the inside. We have 4 MFDs, what looks like pretty good visibility. We have a better look at the cockpit here. We can see 4 Panther repeaters, right? So the pilot might have 4 guns there. Yeah, the MFDs and HUD looks pretty good. And here's what it looks like on the show floor. So we have Asgard rise above the battlefield. 2 guns on top, 2 guns on the nose. So that could be the 4 Panthers there. And then we have 2 guns for the man turret on the bottom. So it looks like it's pretty well armored, right? Well, the weapons seem to be pretty good here. So now what I want to do is take a look at the interior and kind of go over what this ship's all about. All right, so now we're looking at the interior, and the first thing we can see is those 4 MFDs. We can see our Panthers, but actually up here we have 6 guns, 18 rounds each in our MFD cast. So it might have 6 guns. It might still have those guns out on the kind of like, the edges. I'm not entirely sure. Or the pilot might have control of that bottom turret if there's no one in it. Again, not sure. It looks like they're all Panthers, so probably not. And then we have a lot of pips for shields here. So it's looking like it might have 4 medium shields. Then the pilot here is going to get out of the seat. And we have a fire extinguisher on this one side and the door panel. Then as you go to the door, walk up these steps. On one side, we have gun rack, 4 primary, looks like 6 sidearms, and then a large weapon slot for things like the railgun, the missile launcher. That's nice to have, especially on a combat ship like this. Then on the other side, I'm not sure what this area is. This might be suit lockers. Doesn't look like escape pods. Maybe it's supposed to have jump seats or something. Not sure. Then we have this area here. It looks like it might be a console, maybe a little kitchenette. Not entirely sure. This area is kind of dark. Then we go to the back. Now, this is a big difference between the Asgard and the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie has a railing that goes across here that takes up a little bit more space than this. This is nice. It has the railing here. It looks like it has a little button to open up this hatch that goes to the ladder down below. Now, what's interesting is that this opening here might actually be glass. And if that's the case, then it would seal up the atmosphere in this area from the cargo area where the rear ramp is. And that is essentially what a lot of players have been asking for with the Valkyrie, to kind of protect the habitation area, because in the Valkyrie, this area is all open. So if you're not wearing a helmet, it could be a problem when the room system gets activated. But yeah, if this is glass, then that would be even more security. So we go on one side, and it looks like we have a bunk room with 2 TVs there. Then on this side, we have the bathroom, shower, toilet, sink combo. Now, we're going to go below, down the ladder. And on one side, on both sides, we have the doors. Okay, so now, in the Valkyrie, these are where the jump seats are. In the Asgard, looks like you have a jump seat here, engineering terminal, fire extinguisher. So that's the engineering terminal. A walkway to go to the other side. And we have a door here that goes to the front man turret. And you can see the other jump seat here. So it seems like at the front, you have these 2 jump seats. You have the engineering terminal, fire extinguisher. You have all of these hatches, presumably for components. And then you have that front man turret. Now, it looks like we have the buttons for the side door and even a button for the back ramp. So that's kind of handy that you can open the back ramp from this area. Of course, the side door opens, and then you have the door gun. Then this area looks very large. It's very tall, right? So it looks like it could fit a ballista in it, right? Because the ballista is very tall. You have another fire extinguisher there. And then we have the other button there to open the back door. So, very nice interior. I think a lot of this is the same stuff that Valkyrie owners have been asking for. Basically, this is the better Valkyrie. I hate to say it. So that's why I think the naming convention Valkyrie Mark II or Valkyrie HT kind of makes sense here. It is extremely similar to the Valkyrie, but better in terms of the habitation. It doesn't have the jump seat for people who aren't going to use that. I mean, again, having a dropship in Star Citizen, there really isn't a need for it right now. So I feel like a lot of Valkyrie owners would prefer this, right? But let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now, I wanted to show an image of the types of ground vehicles that can actually fit in this ship. Okay, so here we have an image of the Nova tank with that new ballistic Gatling gun attached to it in the back of the Asgard. It looks like it still has a ton of space around it. In my personal opinion, easily walk around on both sides. It might even fit 2, right? Because this space looks like it goes back very far. So it might even be able to fit 2 Nova tanks. But in terms of price-wise, I'm thinking this thing is probably going to be more money than a Valkyrie. But on the other hand, it might be cheaper because, jump seat tax. I'm thinking ships like the Cutlass Steel, very expensive for what it is because of those jump seats, presumably anyway. So Not sure how much this ship is going to come into. It is getting very close to something like a C2, which can hold 3 tanks. So even if this can hold 2, I think $400 might be kind of pushing it. But if it does go for $400, I could realistically see a lot of Valkyrie owners upgrading to this. And, I don't want to see that. I don't want to say that that's an easy, money grab situation for CIG to just kind of entice Valkyrie owners over to this ship. Because, in my personal opinion, this should be the Valkyrie. This should be the Valkyrie update. I don't know why this is a separate ship named the Asgard. To me, this feels very much like a Valkyrie Mark II. Now, let's go over and take a look at the Starlance Attack full interior. Alright, so now we have the Starlance Attack. I'm not going to pause it too much because this is a bit of a longer video. The Starlance Attack is a very large ship, as you guys can probably see here. I'm just going to kind of try to narrate over it, basically describe what we're taking a look at, which you guys could probably see for yourself. I think the Starlancer is an excellent design. We can see the side turrets on the outside there. Again, the outside is going to be very similar to the Starlancer Max. Then at the back here, we have those missile turrets. And I guess that's some kind of camera at the back. The ramp, again, the Starlancer is very slim. So you have a much smaller ceiling height in this back area. So if you're going to want to use this for a vehicle transport, you're not really going to fit that much bigger than Ursavovo. Here we have the medical area, right? Where you can set your respawn point, 2 med beds. Looks like you have some storage here. We saw this on aUEC. This is a very good looking ship, very good looking med bay area. Here's where we have the jump seats, right? 4 on each side. They're in the middle. Then you have the side guns. The doors open, right? Kind of like the cargo area in the Starlancer Max, with little ramps that the troops can run out of the side of the ship from. I really do think that's a nice design there. And even has the lights that emit on the floor, kind of like the C1. Some fake screens there. Then we have this room in the front here where we can access those side turrets. Visibility looks really good. You've got that bubble canopy, something that is kind of trademark Misk or Morai at this point. Yeah, I'm really liking this so far. Everything seems good. Then you're going to go up to the front here where there is the main elevator, where you got the airlock on the other side, the ladder to go to the second floor. And then the armory. A lot of suit lockers in there. Now we're going to go upstairs. Of course, we got the other side of that ladder. And we've got the escape pods. Now we come into the area that is different, right? Again, this habitation area still has a very large kitchen. We have a bathroom here. Player can see themselves in the mirror. I like to see that. Then we have the shower side, another sink and mirror, and the crew quarters. Yeah, so we have 8 beds, right? So the whole team, the whole squad, all your group of friends can log out here once CIG fixes group bed logging, of course. The emergency lights. We walk back out into the main room. You've got like the picnic bench, kitchenette there. Then I'm guessing that we walk around here, and in the center is the hangar. So Traditionally, we still have those elevators. Traditionally, we would have the crew quarters here in the Star and Max. Maybe fuses. And so this is kind of an interesting area. I thought that these stairs went all the way to the first floor, but apparently they don't. It's like a little entrance area for the hangar. So the hangar is kind of raised up above. I guess that was to make the doors, you know, you wouldn't have to move away so much armor from the ship, right? But it does make the ceiling height in this room a little bit lower. So you really can probably only fit a Fury, maybe two in this room. I don't think you're going to be able to fit something like a Pisces in here, but players will attempt it, I'm sure. Then we have the engineering area. Nothing changes about that. That's pretty much the same. Then the player is going to walk all the way to the front, I believe. And then you have the same cockpit as the Star and Max. Very cool looking ship. I think they did a good job with it, right? The outside, you do have a different paint scheme though. Again, you can see the hangar opening there, right at the middle of the ship. Very nice. Very cool looking ship. Then you have the pilot, those 4x4 pilot control guns. I like this ship a lot. I think a lot of people are going to be excited to pick it up. If you guys want to know what the interior looks like, that's what the interior looks like. So now we're going to go over and take a quick look at the Guardian MX and the Graycat MTC. All right, so here we have the Guardian MX, right? And so it has 4 guns here, right? Instead of 2 size 5s on each side. And it looks like it has missiles up here. So if you guys saw the sneak peek, it was of missiles. So I think that's potentially from the Guardian MX, right? The cockpit view out of the MX is also a little bit different, right? So I'll try to see if I could find a photo. Hang on. Okay, this is a snippet from the actual aUEC of the Guardian MX cockpit view area, and you can see the 4 guns there, and we can tell that this is the Guardian ship hull design language. But again, different canopy. The standard Guardian has the MFDs up top. This is kind of annoying in combat, because in combat you're always trying to look up into the turn to find your opponent, right? In an industrial ship, this isn't really a problem because you're always looking forward at whatever you're doing, be that mining or salvage. But in combat, you definitely want to be able to look up and look around and stuff. So this kind of split MFD view should be a lot nicer for people who do want to, you know, main combat with this ship. And we can also see the new Mirai MFD design language here, this kind of blue and yellow and pink and purple, kind of more fancier colors that matches Mirai's more sporty and performance aesthetic. Now I want to take a look at the Graycat MTC. All right, so we have first look at the Graycat MTC for upcoming vehicles. You can see right here it says Graycat Industrial. It doesn't really look like there's a back door here, but it does look like we have guns on the top, and looks like a pretty rugged design. I like the wheels and stuff. Okay, so what we're looking at here is apparently a fold out area for the box mission size boxes, right? So if you're doing a box mission, you can put the boxes here, and it looks like you can stack about 2 of them. Then we have a look at the interior of the MTC. You can see a seat here, 4 MFDs, surprisingly, the steering wheel. So it looks like there's only 1 driver, and then you have a jump seat here for a passenger. And then it looks like you have gun racks. Maybe this is a fire extinguisher, some storage areas. Then it looks like we have 2 suit lockers at the back, more gun racks over here, more storage, and then that side door. So it looks like You're going to have space for the box mission boxes, 2 suit lockers, weapons rack, space for a passenger to sit down, a driver, and then the side door. So this looks like kind of maybe a baby Ursa Rover. This thing does look like it's smaller than the Ursa Rover, so that's pretty good for people who want an enclosed ground vehicle, but their ship can't fit an Ursa Rover. I'm thinking C1 owners, for instance. If you own a Spirit C1, the Ursa Rover doesn't really fit in a lot of ships, right? So what a lot of players actually want is something that's a little bit smaller. Again, I'm not sure about this. I'm just kind of theorizing, but it looks like it's a bit smaller than the Ursa Rover. And if that is the case, and it is a bit smaller than the Ursa Rover, because like again, the Ursa Rover's big problem is those huge wheels. It could fit in a lot more ships if those wheels weren't in the way. So if this is again a little bit smaller than Ursa Rover, and it has suit lockers, has a jump seat, has weapons areas, I feel like a lot of people are going to take advantage of this. The Ursa Rover again has more seats because it's designed to be a troop transport. This is again that mobile command or kind of staging area. You can put your weapons loadout, your armor loadout in this ground vehicle and go do whatever mission you want to do. So again, I think this would be very appealing to a lot of people who actually want a usable ground vehicle, because a lot of people also ask for enclosed ground vehicles, right? So they're not exposed to the elements. You know, we're talking about stuff like the Cyclone and the STV, the great ground vehicles, but they're exposed to the elements, and that's a problem in a space game. We need enclosed vehicles in a space game. So this will be nice, so you don't have to worry about that. Your suit is automatically recharged whenever you go into an area that has atmosphere. So if you're outside for a while, all you have to do is get back to your ground vehicle. It recharges the atmosphere in your suit or whatever. So I think that, you know, this is actually an interesting ground vehicle. Again, I have no idea what the price on something like this would be. Hopefully something around 40 bucks, right? And I feel like a lot of people will pick this up. But I want to know what you guys think about all of these ships, all of these vehicles, right? About Invictus. Do you guys think that the Asgard is just a Valkyrie? Are you guys picking up a Stalin's attack? Do you think the Guardian MX is also going to be a major player in the heavy fighter, you know, crowd? And are you excited about the Graycat MTC? So let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Again, that's going to be the end of this video. Like I always say at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Salute.